In a quiet town surrounded by mountains, there lived a man named Daniel. He was known for his kindness and willingness to help others. Despite being admired for his good heart, Daniel often felt an unexplainable sadness. Some days, he felt full of life, but on others he felt lost, as if happiness would never last. One day, a wise traveler arrived in the town. He was known for his wisdom and for helping people find purpose in life. When Daniel heard about him, he decided he needed to meet him. "Wise master, I feel lost. I do good things, I help others, but sadness always finds its way back to me." "Why doesn't happiness last?" Daniel asked, his voice filled with emotion. The sage smiled and replied, "Come with me. I want to show you something that might change your life." Curious, Daniel followed the sage up a hill to a vast open field. In the middle of the field stood a magnificent tree with wide branches that provided shade and comfort to those who sat under it. "Look at this tree," the sage said. "It stands strong, but do you think it has never faced storms?" Daniel observed the tree and replied, "Of course it must have endured heavy rains and strong winds." The sage nodded and said, "Exactly. But the tree does not fall because it has deep roots. Life will bring storms, sadness, and difficulties, but if your roots are strong, you will never fall." Daniel listened carefully. The sage continued, "Happiness is like the sunlight that touches this tree. Sometimes it is there, sometimes it is hidden behind the clouds, but the tree never stops growing. The same is true for life. Happiness will come and go, but you must keep evolving." "But how can I strengthen my roots? How can I remain happy even when sadness arrives?" Daniel asked. The sage smiled and replied, "Let me tell you a story." Days passed and Arjun began applying the sage's teachings to his life. At first it wasn't easy. There were still moments when sadness appeared, still days when the darkness seemed stronger than the light. But now he knew he shouldn't run from those feelings. He had to face them, understand them, and let them pass, like clouds in the sky. One day, a traveler arrived in the village. He was a merchant who had traveled through many lands, bringing with him stories and wisdom from distant places. He heard about Arjun and his search for deeper meaning and decided to share something that might help him. "I come from a kingdom where people believe happiness is found in possessions," the merchant said. "They gather gold, land, and wealth, yet they do not find peace. But in a remote village I met a man who taught me something profound. He said, 'True happiness does not come from what we have, but from what we share.' At first I didn't understand, but then he showed me something extraordinary." Arjun, intrigued, asked the merchant to continue. "This man took me to a small stream. He scooped up a cup of murky water and said, 'If you try to drink this, you will only taste bitterness and impurities.' Then he poured the cup back into the stream and waited. The current carried the dirt away, and soon the water became clear again. He looked at me and said, 'The human mind is like this cup. If we hold on to pain, fears, and doubts, we remain trapped in impurities. But if we let these feelings flow like the water in the river, clarity returns on its own.'" This struck Arjun deeply. He realized that he often held on to past sadness and future worries instead of allowing life to flow naturally. That night, he did something different. Instead of focusing on what was wrong in his life, he took a piece of paper and wrote down 3 things he was grateful for. Simple things: a friend's smile, the smell of freshly baked bread, the warmth of the sun on his skin. Each day, he repeated this practice. Over time, he noticed his mind becoming lighter. The sage's final teaching months later, Arjun returned to the sage. He wanted to share his discoveries and express his gratitude. "Sage, I now understand that happiness is not something we can hold on to. It comes and goes, just like the sunlight passing through the trees. But there is still one thing I don't fully understand. What should I do when sadness feels overwhelming?" The sage smiled and replied, "Let me tell you one final story. There was a woman named Leela who went through many hardships. She lost her home, her possessions, and for a while she felt she had nothing left. But one day, while walking through the forest, she saw a butterfly struggling to emerge from its cocoon. She wanted to help and almost forced it open, but an old sage stopped her. "If you do that," he said, "the butterfly will never be strong enough to fly. Its struggle now is what will give strength to its wings." The sage looked into Arjun's eyes and concluded, "Pain and sadness are part of transformation. They are what strengthen the wings of our soul. Never see them as enemies, but as part of the process that will make you stronger. Whenever you feel sadness overwhelming you, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Because through learning you will grow." Arjun smiled. For the first time, he wasn't afraid of sadness. He knew it would return, but now he was ready. He knew there would always be light, even on the darkest days, and with that certainty he moved forward, carrying within him the flame that could never be extinguished.